is a cloudy, rainy Sunday in San Diego, but a sellout crowd on hand at Qualcomm Stadium, many of them donned in green and gold, as the defending Super Bowl champions come to town to take on the San Diego Chargers. Packers at 7-0, San Diego at 4-3. And hi again, everybody, alongside Coach Brian Billick and Laura Oakman. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to America's Game of the Week here on Fox. Well, the Packers, for the fourth time in franchise history, 7-0 to begin a season. And when you have undeniably the league's MVP at quarterback so far this year, you can understand why.
Well, it's always about the quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy will tell you it's a lot about a whole bunch more. And I'm talking about the receiving corps. It's a homegrown group. They've been together since day one with Aaron Rodgers. They think and act as one, and that's scary for opponents. Defensively, they give up some points, or I should say they give up some yards, but they don't give up a lot of points. This Charger team is capable of some big plays. They're going to have to keep that to a minimum.
But you talk about San Diego on offense, and many wonder what has happened with Philip Rivers, a league-high 11 interceptions.
Well, Rivers and Norv Turner sat down together, looked at about a dozen throws that said, we've got to get this corrected. Now, this is an elite quarterback, or has been. He can be again. The problem is, if this turns into a track meet, and they've got to keep up with Aaron Rodgers, can they do it without the mistakes that have led to some turnovers and some losses?
Speaking of turnovers, who could forget on Monday night, they were trying to just run the thing down to kick a game-winning field goal. Then the bobbled snap turned the ball over. Kansas City won it in overtime. Phillips Rivers has thought about it all week. For more on that, here's Laura Oakman.
That's the truth, Tom. Phillip told me he would have rather thrown an interception for a touchdown than botch that snap. He said he's thought about it all week. He said that would have been a football mistake. I can explain that. This I still can. He said I've had more painful losses, but this emotionally has been the hardest one I've ever dealt with. He said finally what got him over the hump was on Wednesday. He was talking about it for the 1,000th time with his wife when his 9-year-old daughter Haley blurted out, "Daddy, you've got to let it go." Nothing like 9-year-old perspective, guys.
No question about that. Mike McCarthy, 47-year-old Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native, a Super Bowl champion, leading the Packers a year ago. They've won overall 13 straight games. On the other side, in his 5th year in San Diego, his first 3 years, Norv Turner won division titles. And he's been great through November and December. And it appears they'll need another big run as they go in today in a 3-way tie atop the AFC West. Green Bay won the toss, selected to defer until the second half. So it's through the back of the end zone, and that's where Philip Rivers will lead this team out onto the field. They're piling up the yards, but you know, you look at this offense overall, and they're missing some big weapons today, most notably Ryan Matthews in the backfield and Malcolm Floyd, one of their big wide receivers.
Well, what's interesting is the 2 leading receivers on this team are the running backs. That tells me that teams come into this game against the Chargers and say, we're not going to give you the big play to that gifted receiving group or to Antonio Gates. We're going to let you have the backs out of the backfield.
See the numbers for Rivers as a starter here at Qualcomm. Jackson on the crossing pattern, a big gainer on first down, run out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Now the Packers defensively, as Brian mentioned a moment ago, they will give up a lot of yards, but they really buckle down and don't surrender very many points, only 20 on average a game.
The question for me is, who are they going to put on this back end with Antonio Gates? We may see Woodson on him a great deal out of the Packers nickel package.
Nine-yard pickup, first carry of the game for Mike Tolbert. And the bowling ball of a back will get plenty of carries today. Without Ryan Matthews, men of the most notable names today that Norv Turner does not have. We talked about Matthews, we talked about Floyd, and still on defense, their leading sack man over the last 7 years, Shawn Phillips. Luis Castillo still out with a broken leg.
That's quite a list there for San Diego to overcome on a short week.
Jacob Hester for a first down to the 45.
Well, they're getting chippy here a little bit. They both understand the importance. That's the great thing about the NFL, Tom. 16 games. Every game's important. Obviously for San Diego, coming off a hugely disappointing loss to Kansas City might mean a little bit more for them, but that doesn't mean the Packers don't want to hold on and keep this thing going to become 8-0, particularly on the road.
So a good start. Gain of 23 on the first play. Couple of runs, pick up a second first down. Caught by Jackson close to another first down, and it might be good enough if they spot it inside the 35, which they do.
Just one-on-one on the backside. A quick play fake inside took away underneath coverage that could have helped. As long as the Chargers can continue to crank this run up, and they've had a couple good ones already, that is going to be huge for Philip Rivers in terms of throwing these open receivers on the outside. Ryan Matthews, they're going to miss him today. He's the most explosive of the backs, but Tolbert's a much better pass protector.
Tolbert slips to the inside, and that's another good pickup on the ground, a gain of close to 9.
There's a physicality to the Chargers when they're running the ball well. And Norv Turner, as good a play caller he is, and is known for obviously great passing offenses, Norv Turner wants to run the ball. He knows that's the formula for this team. He knows that's the best friend that Philip Rivers could have if they can crank the running.
Okay with it? Sure. Sure. Go back here. 380. Get hot.
Tolbert short of the first down. The first man was Petra to slow him down, and then Pickett and Clay Matthews finished him off. First third down for San Diego on this game-opening drive.
San Diego is as good as anybody in the league. I believe they're second in the league in third down conversions. That keeps a lot of drives alive. Norv Turner knows that he can be very aggressive with his play calling, because when you're above 50%, that's incredible. That means you got a 50-50 chance of converting on third down. That lets you be very aggressive on first and second down.
Third in the yard, and Tolbert carries for a first down to the Green Bay 23-yard line. He has been money in the bank on third and a yard. They've given it to Tolbert 5 times, and he's picked up the first down each time.
You don't realize how big and physical a back Tolbert is. He's 240 plus. And as I mentioned earlier, he and Matthews have been very good catching the ball out of the backfield. You don't expect that out of a big man, but this is a big physical man that will challenge the interior of the Green Bay Packers line.
Touchdown, Vincent Jackson. First play of the drive, a 23-yard completion to Jackson. The final play, a 23-yard touchdown.
Woodson gets caught way too flat on this play. He's supposed to be the deepest man in the secondary. I don't know what drew him up, but it allowed Jackson to get in behind it with no free safety help.
So all that talk about what's wrong with Philip Rivers, he looked pretty good on the first drive. Going after now by Nick Novak. And a very impressive opening drive for the home team. Jackson, the touchdown catch from Rivers. 7-0 Bolts.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Well, considering what happened at the end of regulation in Kansas City on Monday night with that fumbled snap when it looked like the Chargers would kick a field goal to win the game over their division rivals, a good way to forget all about what happened.
And a good way to get the crowd back into it. Philip Rivers has been handling a lot of criticism this week. What a great way to open up at home.
Randall Cobb, the rookie out of Kentucky. And a good return up to the 37-yard line by Cobb. All right, Rivers and the Chargers with a touchdown. Rodgers with a chance to answer.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Chargers lead 7-0. 27-year-old California native Aaron Rodgers makes his first career start in his home state. What a year he's having. First pass right on the money. That's something he's done each and every week through the first 7 weeks of this season. That one to Jermichael Finley. And boy, so many weapons. An outstanding and very young offensive line starts it all.
It does, and the receiving core we talked about, obviously we just saw Jermichael Finley. They'll go to them for big plays, but Jordy Nelson's the guy. If he really needs something, Aaron Rodgers tends to find Jordy Nelson.
A lot going on there, and they never got the snap
False
ball.
start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Second down and 6 from the 41.
So a second down and a yard goes to second down and 6. It's easy to forget what an outstanding runner Rodgers is as well. He may not be as dynamic or as fast as Michael Vick, but his career numbers the last 3 seasons since becoming a starter have been very, very good.
And it's comical to me that this guy fell down the draft, and we were all wrong because he supposedly wasn't a good enough athlete, couldn't do enough outside the pocket. We were all wrong.
Well, don't throw me in that. I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Well, you know, we're together. We're a partner here, right? If I go down, you go down.
You're right. Into the backfield. And that's a pickup of close to 4. Good coverage and a good tackle by Donald Butler. San Diego really missing Sean Phillips. Injured his foot a couple of weeks ago, missed a Kansas City game. They're thinking he'll miss next week's game before coming back.
Well, if you're
Antoine Barnes replaces him.
Absolutely, and if you're going to get to Aaron Rodgers for San Diego, they've got to do it with 4- and 5-man rush. If they have to commit more people, then Aaron Rodgers is going to slice you up.
Ryan Grant. His carries have been few and far between since he ran for 92 yards against Chicago back in week 3. He's had a kidney injury and only 25 carries over the last 3 games for Ryan Grant.
And we're already seeing Mike McCarthy's chess match in terms of the way he's going at it. He's constantly rotating in his opening 20 plays, personnel and formations. He's probing to see exactly what Greg Minuski and the Chargers, how they want to play them.
Jennings and Finley, the normal 3rd down targets. Rodgers will run it again for another first down as he slides to the 32.
I just talked about the need to get to Rodgers with a 4- and 5-man rush. And when you do that, you have to run to the stops right there. See, they get all clumped up right in there. They're trying to run stunts. And that's what you have to do if you're going to bring just 4 or 5 people. Make it tough for that offensive line of the Green Bay Packers. You just can't rush them straight up the field, but then you also leave yourself vulnerable up the middle like we just saw.
Grant run out of bounds at the 30-yard line. That'll be a gain of 3.
Greg Minuski, the first-year coordinator for the San Diego Chargers, is very familiar with Mike McCarthy. They coach together in San Francisco. They're very good friends. And we've had a couple of their games over the last couple of years where Manusky was in San Francisco. It's the constant chess match. He knows the way the game needs to be called by Mike McCarthy. He also has his openers. He knows exactly what he wants to do by personnel and down and distance.
Rodgers again having to run it short of a first down this time. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
This is why he had to pull it down. There are 3 DBs over 2. They can't shake loose enough for Aaron Rodgers. Here, his go-to guy, Jermichael Finley, with just a linebacker one-on-one. But what you see right there, Eric Weddle over the top. They're going to put 2 and 3 guys over Finley anytime they can get it.
Looking to the end zone, and Jordy Nelson was looking for a flag, and it comes in late. Rookie Marcus Gilchrist on the coverage of Nelson. Gilchrist just replaced Antoine Cason as a San Diego starting corner a week ago in Kansas City.
Pass interference.
He's got a hold of his
Defense,
arm right there. You can see right there. He's trying to play the ball. But that's a trick as old as there is in the books. It's look back like I'm playing the ball, but do that hand fighting. Jordy Nelson is a big physical receiver, and you've got to get your hands on him if you're going to keep up. Just can't do it that way because it's a penalty.
For San Diego, there have been penalty flags all over the field their last 2 games. Penalized 25 times for 200 yards. Jump ball and a touchdown by Jermichael Finley. The 6'5" Finley went over the top of the 5'11" Weddle. Gregory back there in coverage as well.
They got the matchup they wanted. They moved Finley out with a late on Gregory, all but 5'11". Finley, a good 6'4", 6'5". Aaron Rodgers knew exactly where he wanted to go with the ball.
Finley is 5th receiving touchdown of the season. Well, you brought it up earlier. You didn't know if San Diego wanted to get into a track meet with the Green Bay Packers. And here we are with 5:40 left to play in the opening quarter. Each team has had the ball once and each has a touchdown.
I don't know if they want to get into a track meet, but they're going to get one, I can promise you that.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Fiat. Life is best when driven. By Applebee's. Veterans and active duty military eat free on Veterans Day. And by Sprint. All football, no limits. Only from Sprint.
Well, look at the numbers on Aaron Rodgers. 3 out of 3, 18 yards in the air with a touchdown to Finley. But he ran for 24 more.
I remember the first time we sat with Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago, Tom, and he brought up Jermichael Finley. You remember that?
Yep.
And there was a wide smile come over his face because he just talked about the sheer athleticism. Introduced the first time I heard it, the idea of throwing the guy open. This guy has such physical skills and has become a real go-to guy for Aaron Rodgers.
Deep into the end zone, and Goodman's going to bring it out across the 10. Level mercy at the 17-yard line. Oh, what a hit.
They needed to get Eric Weddle over there wider to help out because one-on-one, that matchup he's going to go to every single time.
A lot of pressure in these points on that duo. It was Norv Turner's first 3 years with San Diego, won divisional titles. Well, you never know it in the local papers around here. First down carry to Tolbert. And not much running room on the opening drive. Tolbert 4 carries for 20 yards.
I talked about how Mike McCarthy and the Packers in their opening sequence would throw in a number of personnel and a number of different formations. San Diego doesn't do it quite that way, but they motion or shift on almost every play. And they're trying to do the same thing. They're probing the Packer defense to see, what does this shift, what does this motion do to you in my openers, so I can come back and draw on it later.
And a 3, 2nd and 7. Blitz coming, gets it away, and it's tipped into the air and through the fingertips of Charles Woodson. Woodson had a pair of interceptions 2 weeks ago at Minnesota.
Well, this is just the kind of thing that Philip Rivers was very conscious of when we talked to him about facing Dom Capers' defense. You got to know where everybody is, particularly Charles Woodson. I know where that guy is. This is a MVP, defensive MVP of the league. He's all over the place. It's going to be a long day for Philip Rivers in terms of identifying who's where in this defense.
3rd down. This time it is intercepted by Charlie Pepper. Still on his feet inside the 15. Inside the 10. He will find the end zone. Looked like the ball was tipped by Desmond Bishop, and that's the 12th interception this year by Rivers, his 15th turnover overall. And Pepper races 40 yards the other way for the score.
Desmond Bishop, I want you to watch 55 right here. He's going to run with Antonio Gates. He's on him, gets his hands on the ball. Normally that's a matchup that you like. And right now the Chargers, they got to convert. They got to turn into defenders here. A little lackadaisical. I know they're not paid to do this, but you cannot let Green Bay score. It's going to be a long enough day just watching Aaron Rodgers do that.
Well, you see the block at the end of that play by Clay Matthews. He wanted to make sure if any San Diego Charger had an eye on Pepper, that they weren't going to get him. First career touchdown for strong safety Charlie Pepper. You may remember he replaced Morgan Burnett as starter in Week 4 last year. And then when Nick Collins got hurt this year, Pepper again finds himself in a starting role.
That was the hallmark of this Green Bay team last year in their championship run. A guy goes down, next guy steps up, and the byproduct of that, you got a lot of guys with a lot of experience now this year.
Another one of those guys, coach, is that guy right there, Desmond Bishop.
Does a nice job here, one-on-one on Gates. You see this all the time, but right at the top, probably should have let him a little bit more in here. You see this all the time. You got to keep it away from the safety, but nice job by Bishop. He knew exactly what was happening. And then here you see Clay Matthews. We talk about offensive guys turn into tacklers. Watch Clay Matthews turn into a blocker there. Nice job springing his running mate into the end zone.
Leveled the left tackle Marcus McNeil. Another good block on that return by A.J. Hawk. Bishop missed a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and Tolbert makes it into a gain.
Green Bay Packers, Tom, the reason, like a lot of people, I'm not out of a limb there, picking them to come back to win the Super Bowl. A lot of it had to do, you're pretty lucky if you can get to a Super Bowl. They didn't have any luck last year. By all accounts, they ought to have luck this year. They've stayed relatively healthy, and some things are falling their way. This is an awful big game for them to continue on that mode.
Big start so far today for Vincent Jackson. You talk about Rivers and the way he has struggled so far this season, a real mystery to everybody. Now look through 7 games since he became the starter.
The turnovers, obviously, and it's been this way for as long as the game's been played. but the turnovers are key. Typically, and there's three types. There's just a great play by the defense. There's just a bad throw, and then you're forcing the ball in. That last one kind of falls on Rivers. He needed to lead the receiver just a little bit more, and then, of course, the defense was able to make a good play.
Colbert on first down. A gain of close to 5. Colbert had an outstanding year last year. In fact, he was voted by his teammates as the Chargers Offensive Player of the Year. Rushed for a team best 735 yards and had 11 rushing touchdowns. Can catch a ball out of the backfield, but a shared time this year with Ryan Matthews.
They drafted Matthews early. They actually moved up in the draft a great deal to get Matthews. As I said earlier, Matthews is a little more explosive, but this guy is very good back, both in protection, catching the ball, and obviously he's a physical presence in the running game.
A.J. Hawk, the first man to meet him. But Tolbert able to lunge forward and pick up a yard. It brings up third down.
Great job by Hawk. Watch him pull the trigger here. A sign of a good linebacker is the ability to recognize and react. And that was Ray Lewis-like in his ability. Once he saw the action of the interior line, he pulled the trigger.
A.J. Hawk has not missed a game since he was a #1 pick out of Ohio State in 2006. Went to the Pro Bowl a season ago. Oh, it's intercepted by Tramon Williams. Another Green Bay touchdown.
Tom, we talked about Philip Rivers having not faced a Dom Capers coach defense before. Dom Capers is known for creating trap coverages and trap defenses. The first one, the interception, was just a great play by a player, Bishop. That was a trap coverage that caught Philip Rivers unaware.
Williams, a Pro Bowler last year, has been bothered by a sore shoulder this entire season. He gets his first interception, returns it 43 yards for a touchdown. Second defensive score here in the first quarter by the Pack.
38's on the outside here, and the way they're dropping out, he thought he had an easy, quick, flat reception, but because of coverage over the top, that allowed Williams to jump the underneath route. That's the type of trap coverage I'm talking about. It looked one way. He's thinking, you can see here, Philip Rivers, look, the way I see the defense right now, this is going to be a give me. This is going to be easy. He didn't recognize over the top. Woodson allowed Williams to jump the underneath route.
May remember last year, Green Bay offensively started the year last year a lot like they are this year. Defensively, they started last year a lot like they did this year. But then on the back half of the season, this defense became the most stingy in the NFL.
And they're a perfect complement to one another. We talked with Dom Capers. Again, keep in mind, Dom Capers used to be a head coach. You know, as a head coach, you got to worry about your coordinator sometime. Are you more about numbers? You more about stats for yourself, or do you want to win? Dom Capers understands he needs to move his offense, or excuse me, his defense in and out of different modes to match this explosive offense of the Green Bay Packers. The trap defenses, if I need to be passive, I'll be passive. If I need to crank up some of these special defenses, I can do that as well.
Goodman brings it out again. Not a wise choice the last time. Pretty good choice this time. Up to the 34, and the kicker tripped it up.
Mr. Goodman returns the ball.
Already this year, in this, the 8th game, in 6 of the 8, Rivers has thrown 2 or more interceptions.
And we talk about it all the time, Tom. It's an interactive statistic, meaning you've got to get interceptions, but you can't give them up. Part of the equation, the Chargers haven't generated a lot of turnovers either. That makes it very difficult when you're on the negative side of that combination.
Tolbert running the ball very effectively up to the 39-yard line. Still a long, long way to go in this one, and we know that San Diego is more than capable of scoring points in a hurry.
And that's the key. When you're good on offense, you're never really out of it. And that's the hook that Norv Turner can use with his troops, knowing, guys, we've been here, we've got the athletes. This is no hill for a climber.
Short of a first down. On the carry by Tolbert. Tackled by Desmond Mission.
I think that last call is an indication of just what we're talking about. You're down 21-7 in a very uncomfortable way with turnovers, yet you continue to push the running game. He knows, Norv Turner I'm talking about, he needs to continue this ratio of run-pass to help Philip Rivers calm down. The big plays will come off of play-action fakes.
Look at Jackson. And that's a big play off the play-action fake.
This is exactly what we're talking about. The play-action fake. The play-action fake is going to draw the linebackers and move the safety. And given their commitment to the run so far, we just saw a good 4, 5, 6 yard run. It moved the safeties out of the way, and now they've got the big play down the field.
So it'll be first down for San Diego when we begin the second quarter at the Green Bay 20. An opening quarter dominated by the defending Super Bowl champions. Fox NFL Sunday continues after this from your local Fox station. Set to begin the second quarter. Green Bay leading by a 14-point margin. But the Chargers a first down at the Packer 20. Dump it off to Tolbert out of the backfield. And he's inside the 10, down to the 8. First and goal for San Diego. And certainly that third down, you said it. Play action would lead to big plays for the Chargers. And
up and down the field, because both these quarterbacks are capable. Clearly here, the turnovers, if Philip Rivers can eliminate the turnovers, we've seen their ability to move the ball.
So first and goal for San Diego, trying to get within a touchdown. And this is really where the Chargers have struggled in the red zone this season. You know, it's amazing. You look at these two teams coming into the game today. They had been inside the red zone the exact same number of times on the year. However, the Packers have scored touchdowns nearly 60% of the time. San Diego has scored touchdowns barely over 40% of the time.
And what's worse, they've turned the ball over inside the red zone. It's one thing not to get a touchdown. Red zone efficiency is always important, but to turn the ball over in the red zone, it's a killer.
Tolbert to the end zone. And he is a load coming through.
I said this wasn't LSU and Alabama, but it looks a little like college ball. Tolbert getting it after a gun snap to Rivers. And again, look at the size of this guy. That's what surprised me. I've not seen him a lot in person. This is a big physical back. He caught the play out of the backfield to set them up for the score and then got to finish off the drive.
Tolbert, an undrafted free agent out of Coastal Carolina University. His fourth rushing touchdown, and perhaps Nick Hardwick getting rid of some frustration after what happened in Kansas City.
Today's game is sponsored by the Droid Razor. Thin is no longer frail, only at Verizon. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by the Ford F-150, the only truck available with EcoBoost.
21-14, Green Bay in front, and obviously it has been every bit of feast or famine offensively for Phillip Rivers and the Chargers.
If you can just stay away from these, the Chargers are going to be fine. It's happened two ways. Great physical defensive play and a trap defense. Phillip Rivers is going to get into a rhythm here, get used to what he's seeing by way of this Green Bay Packer defense. This is going to get real interesting.
Cobb will bring it out 7 yards from the end zone. And he is spun down at the 22. Well, at Fox Sports, we are so proud to support the Armed Forces Foundation, offering vital assistance to service members and their families through financial, recreational, and emotional support. The AFF provides better care and treatment for our military. Please support America's heroes by serving those who serve. For more information, please visit armedforcesfoundation.org. You look at the Midway, which of course now has turned into just a fascinating tourist attraction in downtown San Diego. You had a chance to go through that thing yet?
Yeah, it's absolutely fabulous. I tell you, I got out for my run this morning. I thought I was in Appleton, Wisconsin, though, because there was nothing but Packers fans. You could feel them in force here today as well.
And of course, it's right up their alley weather-wise. Starts his first carry. And a big run of close to 17, but it might come back.
Offside. Defense, number 99 in the neutral zone. Penalties declined. First down, Green Bay.
20-yard run will stand. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee just up the road in Los Angeles.
And the pro-Tebow faction gets the cheer as Tim Tebow hooks up with Eric Decker. 27-yard touchdown puts Denver in front of Oakland 7-3. Tebow 5 touchdown passes, 1 interception. Tom?
Tebow coming off that horrific game, his last start against Detroit. And Rodgers dropped by Tommy Harris, the one-time Chicago Bear Pro Bowler.
Just a great inside rush, as we said earlier. If they can get there with a 4-man rush, that will be huge for the Chargers. And to get a rush from the inside like that, we say it all the time, that's the thing a quarterback hates more than anything. When they can get had inside from an inside rush, it prevents you from stepping up in the pocket. It throws off all your rhythm, all your timing.
Ready, go!
Second and 12, Rodgers throws. There's a lot of contact down there. And a flag comes in from back to the 30-yard line. Quentin Jammer got tangled up with Greg Jennings.
Well, you can put your hands on a receiver, but you can't change the impetus or the direction of that receiver. He had his hands all over him there.
Holding. Defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You're going to see it here as he runs that out route. Gets a little off balance, jam, just that last little hold. I don't think it was late. I think it was the grab of that arm early that got him.
So an automatic first down puts the ball at the 45. San Diego is lining up as though the line of scrimmage were all the way on the other side of midfield.
Oh, what's the game? 319!
Perfect strike to Jermichael Finley, and that's another first down to the 44-yard line. With Aaron Rodgers off to one of the finest starts by a quarterback in NFL history. Look at his completion percentage right now, would break the all-time single season record. His passer rating, you and I don't get necessarily wrapped up in all that. Last time I saw you were blowing up that theory.
Well,
but the passing yards per game, NFL record holder, former Charger Hall of Famer Dan Fouts.
Spectacular numbers. The rating, the passer rating, spectacular. It's useless, but it's spectacular.
A good strong running by the second-year back out of Buffalo, James Starks.
Tom, we meet with players all the time. Quarterbacks will come into a room. There is a calm about Aaron Rodgers, and it's always been there. I don't mean a glassy-eyed, I don't know what's going on calm, but there is a Montana-esque quality about him. He knows what he is. He knows what his team's about. He knows what they're capable of doing. He's truly the best quarterback in the National Football League right now, and a lot of it has to do with the confidence and the people around him.
Jennings short of the first down to bring up 3rd down and 2.
Interesting that Dom Capers we visited with as well. You know, I always love a defensive guy's perspective about a quarterback. And Dom Capers, who's been around this league a long, long time, has seen some pretty good quarterbacks, says by far the best quarterback he's ever seen.
That's an amazing statement.
It is, and Dom Capers is a heck of a coach. And like I said, I always love the defensive perspective because who spends more time looking at these offensively, you have a certain idea, but these defensive guys get honed in pretty good about who's good and who's not.
Blitz coming. They pick it up. Rodgers looking around. He will not get there. So here you are at the 37-yard line. You have a kicker with has more than enough leg to do it. And it looks like Mike McCarthy is thinking about going for it on 4th down.
Well, we're just at that range where why not? Why not make it 4-down territory? And you always want to prepare your play caller for you in 4th-down territory, but he is the play caller. So unless he's schizophrenic, he already had that conversation with himself. But why not here? You're outside. A punt, I don't know what it does for you. Maybe pick up 10, 12 yards total if you can kick it just right. This is a good call, in my opinion.
She did not convert it on 4th down this year. San Diego calls a timeout.
San Diego takes their first timeout.
So the Packers with a 4th down upcoming, leading 21-14. Mason Crosby hit a franchise record 58-yarder at the Metrodome 2 weeks ago. His career long on grass is 56. But rather than try about a 55-yarder, the Packers are going to go for it. Incomplete, and no penalty flags anywhere. So the Packers turn it over on downs, and San Diego will get the ball with 10:07 to play until halftime.
Bringing Weddle, this is the second time they brought him in this series, trying to put pressure on Rodgers. You can't stay passive against Aaron Rodgers. You got to change his clock. You've got to get him off his pace. Got the ball out there maybe a little earlier than he wanted to.
Colbert on a 1st down carry, picks up 2.
Aaron Rodgers right here. He's going to sit down, and this is a little different for him. He has to sit down with Tom Clemens. He talked about the fact that he really doesn't get to talk to Mike McCarthy that much because Mike McCarthy obviously has his attention elsewhere right now. He really has to rely on his quarterback coach, Tom Clemens, to communicate the things that they're seeing from the sideline.
Blitz coming. Rivers dropped the ball and then just feeds it to Tolbert, who gets a 1st down. How about that?
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this isn't exactly the way this play was drawn up. And again, this is Phillip Rivers being Phillip Rivers. He's such a competitor. That's the type of thing that now can backfire on you, and then you'll criticize him for even doing that. But this is what Phillip Rivers is about, and just turned a dead play, maybe a disaster, into a big play.
That was almost another forced turnover by Charles Woodson. Western lost. Are they saying completed pass? I think they're calling that a completed pass and then a fumble out of bounds. Now the officials will talk about it on the sideline.
This is too bad. He had the potential to turn this up for some big yards. He never had control of that. They're going to have to confer with one another. I don't know that it's worthy of a replay necessarily for Mike McCarthy.
Well, they're calling it a completed pass the way they're spotting the football.
There was a catch and a fumble that went forward out of bounds. The ball we brought back to the spot where the fumble was. It'll be second down.
I don't know that he really had control. You've got to catch the ball, then do the football act. He's got one, but now the ball is already beginning to move before he gets the second step down. Not worthy of a challenge because you're only talking about a couple yards.
Third down coming up, and let's check in again with Curt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
A couple of firsts for Oakland against Denver. This is Michael Bush's first ever receiving touchdown in the National Football League. More importantly for the Raiders, is Carson Palmer's first touchdown pass in silver and black. They lead the Broncos 10-7 in the second quarter. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Brian, were you a little surprised at Carson Palmer after being, really picked up after that trade from Cincinnati? Did he play the first game he could?
Yeah, it was, and I think Hugh Jackson wishes he hadn't put him in. I don't know what his options would have been, but I think he was regretting doing that after he put him in. That was a tough position to be put in.
That's the second ball. The Gates is dropped, and a flag comes in late.
Wow.
Holding. Defense, number 21. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You can see now this is two pretty good players one-on-one. Charles Woodson, obviously, and right here, they're just fighting with one another. I don't know where that hell came in. I don't know about that one. There was enough pushing. I thought maybe they might have got called for offensive pass interference when he shoved him by it. Charles Woodson's not going to love that one. When you talk about a Charles Woodson, I was fortunate enough to coach some pretty good DBs. Ed Reed, Rod Woodson, Deion Sanders, the intellect of these guys. Charles Woodson's the same way. He has got great intellect for a defensive player.
Colbert slips to the outside and carries down to the 40. That'll be a first down run of 5 yards.
And when you find the great defensive backs in this league, Tom, we find it all the time. Look at the numbers here. I mean, a defensive player of the year, obviously that typically will come from a secondary because of the turnovers, but what jumps out at you, Darrelle Revis the same way. The great cover guys obviously have physical skills, but they have a perception of the game. They're very, very intelligent. They play an intelligent game. That's a big part of the equation for them.
Gates hangs on to this one. He beats Zombo in coverage, and that's down to the 31-yard line. And that's another Chargers first down as we close in on 7 minutes to play, and San Diego down a touchdown.
And it's part of the game. Watch here. This is part of the game that Philip Rivers is playing now with Dom Capers. We've seen Charles Woodson on Antonio Gates. Now in this zone coverage, we see Zombo and a linebacker on him. Philip Rivers is going to be looking to see his go-to guy, obviously Antonio Gates. Who's on him? If I can get him on a linebacker in zone, I'm going to go to him.
Looked like that pass may have been tipped to the line of scrimmage because it was way off line to the intended receiver, and Desmond Bishop almost had an interception.
And this is one of the tips you wouldn't necessarily put on Philip Rivers, unlike the earlier one where he forced the ball a little bit. That's just one of those things. It's a quarterback's worst nightmare when all of a sudden he sees the ball, the trajectory change. Unbelievable. Ryan Pickett getting his hand up there, maybe getting another turnover at that point. Philip Rivers carries the ball a little low in his delivery for a big man. Those things do happen when you've got a low delivery point like Philip Rivers.
False start. Offense, number 2. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Well, after a couple of interceptions resulting in Green Bay touchdowns, Rivers back-to-back very good drives, and Tolbert has been excellent.
Those rushing attempts and rushing yards are going to be a factor in this game as we go forward. Showing a lot of pressure.
Bounced off a tackle of Walden, but good recovery behind him for the Green Bay defense. It brings up 3rd down and long.
The pressure defense of the Green Bay Packers, particularly in a running situation, I say the run for San Diego can be substantial. If you can catch them in a pressure, that's where those big runs get cranked out, because you have too many guys up the field, too many guys behind you, and nothing but grass and a couple DBs in front of you.
Need to get to the 21 for a 1st down. Good coverage by Tramon Williams.
Almost a great catch by Vincent Jackson, counting on his height to be able to bring this thing down, and was probably just a little too high for him. So we've seen both defenses, that we talked about this thing being a track meet, but now we've seen both defenses kind of burr up, stiffen up, and settle down, and now we're looking now at a field goal attempt, previously a punt by the Packers.
Novak hit his first 15 attempts as a Charger before missing from 52 yards away. And this will be a 52-yard try. And it is plenty good.
Plenty good, but just over the butt. I like your idea of plenty. You're very sporting, but it was good either way. Well, as long as it clears the bar. He had it down the middle, but oh boy.
See, look, he's
fired up. He's fired up.
Today's game is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
Well, check out Mr. Novak. He knew he had 52 yards in that right leg.
Under these conditions with a wet ball, he's thinking, thank God I just dodged a bullet. Because that thing, with all due respect to you, barely cleared the crossbar.
Randall Cobb from the 2-yard line. Nice tackle, and then he somehow stayed on his feet. He broke a tackle of Sharice Wright and picked up an additional 5 yards. So after being stalled on their last drive, Rodgers and company get it again when we return. It's only the 3rd offensive possession for Green Bay in this first half, and we only have 5:40 to go until halftime. First drive, they went down the field for a touchdown. Second drive stalled at the 35.
What's it, 33?
And Rodgers sacked all the way back to the 16-yard line by Antonio Garay.
We talked about him wanting to go to Jordy Nelson in critical or way to get his team jump-started. Wanted to go there, but the Chargers jumped all over it. Nice job. Ended up having to repump it. Obviously a bad situation for a quarterback, as the pressure from San Diego with their 4-man front continues to be pretty decent against Aaron Rodgers.
But you know, there in and of itself is a difference between Rodgers and everybody else in this league so far this year. They throw it and it gets picked up. He comes right back on 2nd down and gets a huge chunk of that yardage right back. First catch made by the Packers all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards, Donald Driver.
And what an asset to have a guy like Donald Driver. His 13 years, we talked earlier, this receiving core is all in their 4th, 5th, 6th year. And they came up with Aaron Rodgers. But Donald Driver's that anchor for them, the 13-year veteran that they're able to draw on, and he accepts that role. They're trying to figure out who pulled who here. The finger point should start here. They'll point at you, you point at me. And both those sets of coaches know what happened. Their guy did it. No, the other guy did it.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Called it on the center, Scott Wells.
You can see LeBoy here at the bottom begin to move a little bit. And the question is, did he react to the center? And now the offensive line move. They're saying LeBoy jumped. The center just lifting his head up. I'm not quite sure that action. Typically, if he does it quickly or with a jerking action to draw the defense, it might get called. Looks like he was just dropping his butt down to raise up to make the call.
Well, 3rd and 4 becomes a 3rd and 9. Rodgers, another first down. All the way to midfield. Rodgers is the leading rusher for Green Bay today. 49 rushing yards.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a coverage sack because down the field everybody is locked up. Right here is where normally the quarterback have to wait. But look, you can see here. Everything gets collapsed in. That's great. That coverage downfield had them shut down, but everybody had their back to the quarterback, and that allowed an Aaron Rodgers to pull it down, convert a first down. Now they're on the plus side of the 50.
51.
Good throw to Greg Jennings. That'll be a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7 coming up as it continues to rain. Who would have thunk it? You were leaving Baltimore. I was leaving Cincinnati thinking we get a little sunshine out here.
You know what? I grew up out here. I grew up in Redlands, California, 90 miles away. It took me 4.5 hours to get down here.
You're still bitter.
Oh, yeah. You know, I'm a Southern California guy, so they say you can take your own shots. When a little bit of rain on the ground, these people turn to idiots. Unbelievable.
51.
And they're my guys. I grew up here.
51.
Blitz coming, they pick it up. And there's Jordy Nelson in forward progress, probably gives him a first down. He needed to get to the 38-yard line, and that's right where they're going to spot it.
You have got to blitz Aaron Rodgers. You got to change it up. You just can't sit passive. The problem is he's #1 in the league right now against pressures. His completion percentage, he gets touchdowns. It's hard to get home, but you've got to bring it. You can't sit in just one defense or the other. Greg Minuski knows that. You got to pick your spots. Yeah, you want to get home with 4 and 5. Occasionally you have to bring more.
Let me ask you a silly question here real quick. They're bringing the chains from the other side of the field. Why don't they have a set of chains on each side of the field?
Well, because you can't get them matched up perfectly. There has to be one official marker.
Okay.
You just, you know, it's tough enough. I'm talking from a coaching perspective. They screw up the one set of markers enough. I don't want them to have 2 now, but you just want the one reference point.
All right. So that much short.
I learned a long time ago the only dumb question you don't is the one you don't ask. That's the only dumb question. That was a good question.
Where Saturday night Fox Sports will step into the octagon, the heavyweight title fight. Cain Velasquez against the #1 ranked contender Junior Dos Santos. That'll be Saturday night Eastern, 6 Pacific. Only on Fox. 3rd down and less than a foot. They went for it on 4th down right in this neighborhood the last time.
I don't know why they wouldn't do it again. If you're going to think 4-down mentality, why not take a shot here to the end zone?
Well, Kuhn has been money in the bank on 3rd and short. 12 out of 14. And he picks it up again. All the weapons and all the offensive stars on his team. That guy right there, he has been a real good player for the Packers since they picked him off waivers from the Steelers.
And that wasn't boos from the San Diego crowd because it's a heavy contingent of the Packer. They're California Packer fans. I can tell that. I can tell the difference. See, because if they were coming from Wisconsin, they'd have their hunting fatigues on. So this is definitely the California. Plus, they have shirts on. So that tells me that this is the California Packer fans.
It looks like Vaughn Martin is the injured San Diego Charger. Young man born in Jamaica, raised in London, Ontario. Didn't start to play football until the 10th grade. They like his future. hopefully he's going to be all right. Next week, a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader in the NFC South. The Saints and the Falcons. More other regional action than in America's Game of the Week. Coach, you and I will be in the Windy City. The Bears and the Lions. Others will see the Giants. And how about the 49ers? It all begins with a Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. A 19-11 win for Jim Harbaugh's team. You and I did their only loss, a game they easily could have won. They lost in overtime to Dallas.
And they're doing it the old-fashioned way. They're running the ball. They're playing good defense. They're not turning the ball over. A lot of people questioning, can that win a championship for you? They're looking awful good right now.
Well, there are a lot of folks out there that said that Jim Harbaugh was going to have a very rough rookie year as a head coach.
Rough's a relative term because he's got him drinking the Kool-Aid out there. They're believing.
2 minutes to play until halftime. Green Bay leading 21-17. All 3 timeouts remaining. And a throw and a catch. Donald Driver to the 29-yard line. It'll bring up second down. And the Packers are huddling up with the ball inside the San Diego 30.
Exactly what you want to do. You still want to control the clock. Even if you score, you'd like not to leave them a lot of time. With the timeouts, you want a more orchestrated call.
Even. Ready, go.
Sacked all the way back to the 40-yard line by Antoine Barnes. Excellent coverage by the San Diego secondary. And Green Bay will spend a timeout, stopping the clock with 1:11 to play.
And it begins because of the inside pressure by Garay. He was able to make Rodgers reshift it. Nice ball security by Rodgers. You talked about what they do. They don't turn the ball over even in that situation. Great ball security allowed Barnes then to clean up. Again, great pressure on the inside. That's twice now that Aaron Rodgers has felt that pressure from the inside.
Not a San Diego team that has applied much pressure at all. In fact, coming in, only 13 sacks total in their first 7 games, yet they've gotten to Rodgers 4 times.
They've got to think about field goal position as much as first down. There'll be somebody at the first down marker. You can believe that. Aaron Rodgers is going to take that shot if they give it to him. But they also want to leave themselves in field goal position should they not get the first down.
A 2-man rush. And they still get a first down. Right at the 25-yard line, it's Greg Jennings. 2-man rush. You have 4 sacks in the game.
Well, they were counting on coverage there. See if they could force them into an issue. They now go into the no huddle. With only the 2 timeouts, they want to keep one in their back pocket as we get close to underneath. We're going to stop it here.
The previous play is under review.
So they want to make sure that the catch was made by Jennings on that low throw.
Can we see any bobbling? Does he have control? That's going to be the key. Clearly his hands are underneath it. We need to see movement. Now that looks pretty secure there, plus his hands underneath it.
I got to ask you though, Brian, there's no doubt that's a catch. They shouldn't even waste their time. But you have 4 sacks on Aaron Rodgers. You rush 2 bodies.
But what we say
on 3rd down and 11. Why?
What we say earlier, you got to change it up. That doesn't mean you like the calls. You know, you'd love to pressure a lot, and you could pressure. You could throw 7, 8, 9 guys at him at every snap. Eventually, he's going to make you pay. You could go passive every play. At some point, he's going to carve you up. That was just part of the sequence. 3rd and long. Let's see if we can smother off or make them drop the ball underneath. We'll rally up as long as we stop them and don't give them the first down. Didn't work there because it looks like the catch is going to hold up, but it's just part of the play sequencing you do. It didn't work, so you know what? It was the wrong call. I love the mentality of the Packers in the red zone. They said it yesterday. touchdown to check down.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a catch. First down, Green Bay.
Their mentality is touchdown to check down. There's going to be somebody in the end zone on every play that gives him the option to make that throw, and he knows right away. Defense doesn't want to give it to you, I'll come right down to the check down.
When they spot the ball, the clock will start.
You got 51.
Starks out of the backfield. He checked it down. And run out of bounds just short, it appears, of a first down to the 16-yard line.
And that was exactly what I'm talking about. He's going to look down the field. Does coverage give me the shot here? Look, he's looking down the field. No, no, no. All right, I'll take the check down right there. And the transition for him. What on a football field has Aaron Rodgers not seen now? So he knows the look he's looking for to get whatever route down the field. Not there. I'm going to take the short profit underneath.
Good coverage in the back of the end zone by Paul Oliver on the tight end, Jermichael Finley. Got 22 seconds left.
Got the perfect jam here. Threw him off balance just enough. He needed to get back outside. A little bit of a bump there, incidental contact. Couldn't quite get his stride back. Aaron Rodgers knew he liked the matchup. If he right there, he knew he just missed it. Probably needed a little more air to let the big Finley get underneath it. Might even see a quarterback draw here. They got the timeout in the back pocket.
San Diego takes their second timeout. This will be a 30-second
timeout
timeout.
remains for Green Bay. And right now, let's go to Kurt Menefee to see what's coming up on the Visa halftime report. Kurt?
In just a bit, we'll walk you through the Visa halftime report with all the scores and highlights from a busy Week 9 in the National Football League, which includes the Dolphins getting their first win and a good NFC South battle between the Bucs and the Saints. Plus the Fox Sports ticker with up to the second stats on the Visa halftime.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Some of the early game headliners. Kurt mentioned the Dolphins getting their first win of the year. Kansas City, you know, go figure. They lose their first three. They win 4 in a row. And they lose at home today to Miami. DeMarco Murray. Boy, what an injection of running game life he's given Dallas. And Julio Jones, you've been talking about him since he came out of Alabama.
Well, he's healthy now, and that he couldn't show up at just the right time for Atlanta because they need that explosiveness.
Chargers took that last time out. So here with 22 seconds left. Threw behind the back shoulder. That's a touchdown to Jordy Nelson. What a throw by Aaron Rodgers.
This is the classic definition of throwing a guy open. Having faith in Jordy Nelson, Jermichael Finley, his two go-to guys in this type of throw. I'm going to throw the ball where I have to be safe. You come up with it. Looks like he had control of it just like the last one. Oh,
Tell you what.
Yeah, we'll see here.
This will be challenged.
Now, again, yeah, will be challenged.
Well, they don't have to here in the under 2 minutes of the half.
But we're talking about challenge from above. But again, the ball can touch the ground. As long as you show control through the action right there, it's moving a little bit. Oh, boy, that's a tough one. Let's remember, it was called a touchdown. You can simultaneously control the ball as it touches the ground. This is the Tony Dungy rule from years and years ago. That one's going to challenge it a little bit. Was there movement? But you can, as long as you have control and it touches the ground, you're okay. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what they're looking at right now.
Well, they're taking a long look at this one. Let's go to the former head of NFL officials standing by in our Fox Command Center, Mike Pereira. Mike, what do you think about this call?
Hey, a double dip here. You got to see, is it a catch? And is he down by contact short of the goal line? Watch the foot of the receiver hit the leg of the defender, which I think puts it down if it's a catch. But I don't think it's a catch. I don't think he has control before the ball the tip of the ball hits the ground. Seems to be sliding through the arm. They got a couple things to look at here.
Well, it's going to take quite a while to take a look at it. Here you get one more look.
The key is he comes back and gets control right there. Is it early enough, again, as the ball touches the ground, did he have enough control through the process, as we say, prior to the ball or just as it was hitting the ground?
You know, Brian mentioned a moment ago, Mike, the Tony Dungy rule. For those that don't remember, tell us about how Tony Dungy came into play on a play like this.
Well, what was his play? Tony got involved in this?
Well, remember that. Yeah, go ahead. You remember this was the rule that Tony against St. Louis all those years was talking about. What is a legitimate catch? As long as I've got control, what does it matter that it hits the ground at the same time?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Of course, replay got this reversed way back in years ago, and Tampa Bay was Tony in that situation there where it was ruled incomplete, even though the receiver had control and the ball hit the ground.
The ruling on the field stands. The result is a touchdown.
So it stands. We thank you, Mike Pereira. And that's the 8th consecutive game now. A team record where the Green Bay Packers have scored 24 or more points. And they've done it before the half.
And the verbiage is important. Remember the verbiage. If it's confirmed, they're saying they have undisputed evidence that it was a catch. If it stands, you know what? I didn't see enough to see that it wasn't a catch. The verbiage there important.
So now Mason Crosby for the point after. How about that drive by Aaron Rodgers and the Packers? They got the ball with 5 minutes left and score a touchdown with 18 seconds remaining.
The way these teams respond to one another, and we've seen it on San Diego as well. With all the things that have happened to San Diego, you love the way that they emotionally responded, regathered themselves, weathered the storm, came up with a drive, and right now it was kind of going San Diego's way a little bit, and then Aaron Rodgers pulls off this long, classic Aaron Rodgers drive in terms of just carving up a defense. And we saw it against pressure. We saw it against passive coverage. He hit a number of different receivers. He used every weapon in his arsenal to take him down the field at the half to get a score.
Well placed, 74 yards, chewing up 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Rodgers hitting on 7 of 8, 65 yards. But again, he did it with his legs on that drive, that third down conversion on the 3rd and long when he ran it for 25 yards.
And throwing on the run. I don't know if there's a quarterback in the league, Michael Vick included, that throws better on the run outside the pocket more accurately than Aaron Rodgers.
Goodman will take a knee.
Boy, can you define? You want to look up efficiency in the dictionary? Just pick a game by Aaron Rodgers.
Well, we saw the game 2 weeks ago when he hit on his first 15 passes. At one point, he was 20 out of 23. The 3 incompletions, 1 was a spike, and the other 2 were drop balls.
But that's not a perfect game in the quarterback rating system. So that's why I say, no, I'm not buying into that.
And let's don't forget, Green Bay will get the ball to begin the second half. So a couple of Phillip Rivers interceptions directly leading to Green Bay touchdowns. Fox NFL Sunday continues with a Visa halftime report. After this, 28-17 Packers. Plenty of scoring in the opening half. 28-17, Green Bay in front, and the Packers will get the ball when we begin a second half. Not necessarily gaudy offensive numbers for the Packers because they scored twice on interception returns.
But when they did have it, they moved it pretty good. And this is a big series for San Diego. They, after giving up that late score in the half, they can't give up another score here and expect to stay close in this game. Big defensive series for them.
Anything as you look at San Diego on defense, they did have 4 sacks on Aaron Rodgers in the first half. Anything you say, okay, we're doing this well, or we better start doing this a little bit differently?
They're getting pretty good pressure with a 4- and 5-man rush. We said that was going to be important. He's got to change it up, the passive zone, the aggressive. Don't get too aggressive. Aaron Rodgers is pretty good at it, but as long as they can put a little bit of pressure with their 4- and 5-man rush, they're going to be okay.
Well, we remind you, as always, follow your favorite NFL team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Bay's most dominant quarter so far this season. It's really where they have blown the opposition out of the gym. They've outscored them 69-10 in the third quarter. Nick Novak puts a foot on it. The second half is underway. Cobb will bring it out. And he stopped at the 18-yard line. Let's check in along the sidelines with Laura Oakman.
Thanks, Tom. 27 points. Mike McCarthy feeling pretty good about the balance of his offense. That's going to continue. Defensively wants to tighten up the run defense. As for Norv Turner, wants to keep running the ball, mix it in with some passing. Defensively, you won't be surprised. They've got to contain Aaron Rodgers. He said, we know he's going to make some big plays, but we got to create some turnovers, and we've got to stop him running all over us.
All right, Laura, thank you. You talk about the balance. The Packers are averaging 9 yards a carry. They've only carried it 9 times, but Rodgers has 4 rushes for 49 of it.
Yep. Close up.
They start off with starts to begin the second half. And a gain of 2 wrapped up by Donald Butler.
And now is when the early part of the game comes into play. We talked about Mike McCarthy rolling personnel and formations to get a sense of, okay, what are you going to do to this personnel? What are you going to do to that in this formation? We now see where that comes into play, because we're going to see what he derived from all that. And now we're going to see less personnel changes and more, here's what I want to do out of these groupings.
Looked like Tommy Harris may have jumped the gun. Was he drawn offside?
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Let's don't forget that aspect of it. Aaron Rodgers, obviously one of the veteran quarterbacks now, knows how to use that snap count. This crowd was into it. They were fired up. They've become a little subdued now. I don't know that they want to be sitting on their hands. They need to get back in here and start hooping it up, because the last thing you want to be able to do is let Aaron Rodgers start checking at the line unabated because of noise.
Starks picks up a first down. Run out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Got a good block by Brian Bulaga, his right tackle in his second year out of Iowa.
This offensive line has had to shuffle around a little bit. You got Newhouse on the left side. He had to come over to the right side for a while because Bulaga was out for a couple weeks. He's now having to fill in for Clifton on the left side. That latitude within the offensive line, it's a little like what I talked about last year. Due to the injuries they had last year, you got some substantive play by guys that now have to step in and play on a regular basis.
Play fake to Starks. Rodgers on the roll and finds Jordy Nelson for a gain of close to 10. Call it 9 on first down, and let's check in with Curt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, the Giants defense holding Tom Brady and the Patriots in check. Deion Grant with the second interception of Brady so far in this game, and it's led to the only points, a field goal by Lawrence Tynes, and the Giants have a 3-0 lead in the third quarter. Tom and Brian.
What a surprise that is. New England getting shut out at home.
Nothing surprises me anymore in this league. It really doesn't.
Those are the numbers we were talking about a minute ago. Second and a yard. Starks bottled up, but finds a hole and has a first down.
Tom, I want to go back to a play with Aaron Rodgers. I talked about his accuracy outside the pocket. Watch this now. He gets flushed. He has to move, and that's fine to complete it. But watch where this ball is thrown. Going away, that ball is right on the money for Jordy Nelson. As he approached the sideline, it had to be very accurate. You'd understand if it wasn't, but as he approaches the sideline, he's got to get the catch. He's got to get the feet in. That accuracy outside the pocket is stunning to me by Aaron Rodgers.
Play action and flushed out of the pocket and thrown to the deck. Corey Liuget, #1 pick out of Illinois, getting the sack of Rodgers. We'll see where they spot it. It might not be a sack. Actually, they'll call it a gain of 1.
Well, they brought a 5-man rush that time, and I talked earlier, Tom, about this receiving core with the exception of Driver. They're all in year 4, 5, and 6. And it was interesting, Aaron Rodgers talked about most of them are on their second contract now, which means there's a comfort zone there. These guys grew up together. The subtle sense of I'll wink, you nod, you bend, I'll do that. It's fun to watch them operate.
I mean, can you make a better throw than that? That was absolutely perfectly defended by Antoine Cason. Look at this throw.
And again, not necessarily throwing a guy open, but he's got a big receiver in Finley, so he knows, you know what? I can afford to throw it low and outside. I can throw it away from the DB. It bears the question, when is the guy covered? Where typically you and I would even look at and go, okay, you can't go there, the guy's covered. You throw with that accuracy, you have those kind of athletes, nobody is not open.
San Diego defense needs a stop. 3rd down. Wow, gosh. Golly days. You see something.
And again, just the matchup you want. You got the big Finley. Can use his size. He doesn't have to beat this guy by much. Maybe got a little away with a little shove there. But Aaron Rodgers, well, again, a very accurate throw. You'd just say that's an accurate throw if he had no pressure whatsoever. But Aaron Rodgers having to step up in the pocket and run around. The last minute said, you know what, I need to get the ball out. I got a guy that I think's open. Unbelievable.
Well, surprised Finley didn't get flagged for a taunt right there.
Yeah, that was enough of an action. Typically, that might be called.
Starks to the 32. That'll be a gain of 5.
After a good run up the middle like that, would not be surprised to see them come back again with a play action fake and a shot to the end zone. They're running the ball just enough. And Mike McCarthy, obviously with Aaron Rodgers, you're averaging 10 yards a throw. 63, 65%, 7%. You're losing yards every time you don't throw the ball. The tendency would be, why would I run the ball? But he knows he tries to keep that in a respectable ratio because of the effect it has in the passing game.
I'll tell you, if they gave this ball and this kid the ball 25, 30 times a game, he'd be running for over 100 a game in James Starks. It's good back.
Well, we were here when that came out.
Yep.
You had mentioned that the kid out of Buffalo, and they were searching. Ryan Grant had been hurt. This guy kind of emerged on the scene and really gave them just enough of a counterbalance to run the ball.
Where Starks exploded in the postseason, rushed for 123 yards in the wild card win at Philadelphia. Over 300 rushing yards in the postseason. Third down. Broken up. Excellent coverage by Quentin Jammer. Jammer had been around making plays like that for a decade here in San Diego.
That's a long old throw. That thing came out just late enough. Otherwise, they were going to get another 3rd down. Jammer timing up just right to get to Jordy Nelson. Aaron Rodgers wishing he had gotten the ball out of his hands just a tad quicker.
Well, you go back to last season, and Mason Crosby has made a franchise record 21 consecutive field goals. This try from 47 yards away. Good snap. Good hold. It's 22 in a row. And now a fight breaks out. pushing and shoving at the 40-yard line. Green Bay gets a field goal on the opening possession of this second half. 31-17 Packers.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Nissan, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all. By Happy Feet 2, from Warner Brothers Pictures, in theaters November 18th. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Well, those are some of the shots taken of downtown San Diego yesterday. It has been nothing but cloudy and rainy on this Sunday afternoon. What a spectacular city. We love coming here whenever we get the chance, rare albeit. We were over in Coronado Island yesterday, the home of the Navy SEALs training. And it's up to the 15-yard line. Of course, I wanted you and Laura Oakman to take your .com pick by the SEALs. You guys wanted to go to the beach. Philip Rivers coming back when we return. (31-17) Green Bay in front. San Diego getting the football for the first time in this second half. They need to set the tone to try and get back within one score. Colbert had a nice first half. A penalty flag dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense number 81. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line. Replay first down.
Let's watch him come into motion here. He's going to end up Michael on the edge. And when this thing bounces outside, kind of catches him off guard. He's got his hands in. All of a sudden, the guy starts to pull outside, and you can see right there he's got the hold on him. Kind of shocked him that it bounced outside.
Sun shining through the clouds for the first time today. First down and 18. And wide open across the middle of the backfield is Tolbert, and that's a first down up to the 35-yard line. Gain of 26. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
Well, where have we seen this before? The Giants doing a number on Tom Brady. Michael Boley strips him. Brady fumbles it at the 10-yard line. The very next play, Brandon Jacob runs it in for the touchdown. Brady with that fumble, 2 interceptions as well, and the Giants have a 10-0 lead at New England in the third quarter. Tom and Brian?
How about that? First meeting since they had that spectacular Super Bowl on Fox. And there's a drop by the normally sure-handed Jacob Hester.
Well, that's the second questionable one. They gave him the first one, if you remember, in the first half, where it was questionable whether it was a catch. Same thing. And it's this kind of check down change. Look at his eyes come off the ball right there. I mean, since junior high, what are you taught? Look the ball into your hands. Don't take your eye off the ball, even at this level.
Second down and 10. Wide open in the middle of the field is Antonio Gates, and that's to the 48-yard line. A flag on the far sideline. Looked like the Packers blitzed, but they blitzed from too far away.
They did, and then in trying to make up coverage, they left themselves vulnerable. You can see here, right now, something happened. We're supposed to cross off. You can't leave Antonio Gates uncovered. You know, you leave someone covered, leave 22 uncovered. He's dropped 2 balls. Don't leave.
Offense, number 85. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Boy.
Still second down. Lined up in the neutral zone.
These penalties the last 3 weeks now for San Diego just killed them.
Yeah, you got to look in. You got to check the ball in the center. Can't line up off sides, obviously. And all of a sudden now this makes it a very long play call. You got a long enough drive as it is. You've got to respond to the Green Bay Packers, who scored the end of the half, came down and put in position to get a field goal to start the second half. Penalties, turnovers, hard to win in this game with them.
Trying to direct traffic, and Eric Walden ran him down from behind. That is a sack. Walden never quit on the play.
That's just perseverance. Coming from the outside now, you just run it down, He's able to break contain and then keep coming. He's about ready to throw the ball, but don't stop. Great perseverance on the backside. You never stop until the play is over. And now he puts them in a 3rd and long. Great hustle, great play.
3rd down at 16. They need to get to the 45. And they get to the 47 on a completion to Antonio Gates. That is a big 3rd down conversion.
Desmond Bishop again, number 55. This is tough duty for a linebacker against Antonio Gates. Need a little help over the top. I don't know that you're going to win that matchup too many times. Remember, it was the interception down the middle of the field that Bishop was able to break out. This time they take Gates to the outside, giving the entire sideline to work to.
4 down, Terry.
Gates returned Monday night in Kansas City after missing 3 games due to a chronic foot injury. That occurred, you may remember, last year when he tore his plantar fascia. Gates again, and Pepper there to wrap him up, and now for a 7-yard pickup.
We kind of figured they were going to get Gates involved. He only had 3 receptions in the first half. He's been dealing with a foot injury, obviously, the entire year. But what a huge asset for Philip Rivers. And he'll be the first one to tell you, a good quarterback always has a good tight end to get the ball to. He's thrilled to have a healthy Antonio Gates back.
Good strong running by Tolbert, and that's good enough for a 1st down to the Packer 38.
Matthews not in the game. As we said, he's more explosive of the 2 backs. But I've not seen a lot of Tolbert. Really like what I see. Again, a complete back. He's got a physical presence to him that I was unaware of. I'd shove him up the middle a couple more times at this Packer. See if I can wear him down.
Crossing pattern, Vincent Brown. Make contact with some of the sideline personnel over there. Hopefully they're all right. That's his first catch since a Week 4 win against Miami, his 3rd overall catch of his career. One man who played collegiately at San Diego State.
We're seeing some matchups here where, due to the pressures and the unique nature of the Green Bay Packer defense, there you can see Zombo trying to run him down. Linebackers on wide receivers, linebackers on Antonio Gates is not the matchup you want to make a living with.
Boy, had a wide open Gates. He had an eye initially on McMichael across the middle of the field, and Green Bay took that away.
But nice job. Watch him step up here. Here they're shallow routes coming across. Boom, just blows them up. That took him out of the play. That's one way to break it up. Philip Rivers wishing he had a little bit more air underneath Gates because he was clearly behind the secondary.
That was McMichael who took that hit from Desmond Bishop. 9th play of the drive. 2nd and 10. There's Tolbert, breaks a tackle by Matthews, and is caught from behind to the 16-yard line by Woodson. 3rd down and maybe a yard and a half coming up. San Diego needs touchdowns. Field goals aren't going to do it.
And clearly, I'm not sure Norv Turner, again, like a Mike McCarthy on the other side, Norv Turner is the play caller. So right now, this third down call is going to be based on whether he has decided, am I going to go in 4-down territory? If we don't get it here, if you're willing to go 4 down, might be a time to slip a run in here, a trap or a draw. Either way, he's got to, I agree. I think you got to go for it if you don't get it here, given the way the game is right now.
Blitz coming, they pick it up, and a first down. On the catch down to the 11-yard line by Patrick Creighton, the former Cowboy.
Worst nightmare of a defensive coordinator when you bring pressure. Right here, there's a hat on a hat. You pick up the pressure with that many bodies coming in, that means I've got one-on-one in behind it, and that's usually going to favor the offense.
Ryan Pickett got a fingertip on that pass, but it had enough steam on it to carry into the arms of Creighton.
Check, 50-50.
And Rivers will throw it away wisely so. Coming into the game, we told you Rivers led the NFL in interceptions with 11. He's thrown 2 of them today. But in the 11 interceptions coming into this one, 6 of them have come in 3 losses. 6 of them have been inside the opponent's 30-yard line.
And that's the killer, as we said. It's one thing to trade touchdowns for field goals, particularly against a team like the Packers. But the turnovers in the red zone are absolutely deadly. I'm not sure we're not in must-go for 4th down territory as well, the way the Packers are playing. You get this close, you need to try every shot you can at 7 points.
And they get 7. Antonio Gates.
Again on Bishop. Hand-to-hand, then just breaks out. We saw the deeper outright route earlier on a 3rd down. A linebacker on Antonio Gates is not going to be enough. You either got to help him or have something over the top. That's 2 deeper out routes to Gates that have been very productive against the linebacker.
Well, you said it, a very important drive to try and stay with the Packers. A touchdown, Rivers to Gates. And now point after away from making it a 1-possession game. Nearly an entire 17 minutes left in this game. That's a big touchdown for San Diego.
Because I made it.
An answer scoring drive for San Diego. 12 plays, 84 yards, chewing up 6.5 minutes. Antonio Gates, a huge part of that drive. 4 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Randall Cobb. And across the 25. And out of bounds to the 28. Antonio Gates has been creating these kinds of reactions from linebackers for years. Get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL now. Needless to say, San Diego's had a hard time stopping Green Bay this entire game. They need a stop here.
I'll trade 7 for 3s. As long as they can do what they've done in the last 2 series, they'll be okay.
Good way to start it. Antoine Barnes, they're very excited about the way he's been playing, taking over for the injured Sean Phillips.
Coming off the top, high rush, maintain, contain. No, not there. I'll slip underneath. Had Antoine in Baltimore. This guy can get after the quarterback. They're trying to do a lot of things with him, dropping into coverage as well, making him a more complete player.
Look on the right. Ready, left. Move heavy. Ready, go.
What a catch by Jennings. And he's up to midfield. Jennings among the game's very best, though his name infrequently comes up.
Haven't heard from him all day. Watch this. He catches this thing out the backside. Zero backfield, meaning there was no one in the backfield. A 3-by-2 alignment. You get the matchups you want. What a great catch. Haven't called his name all day long. Big catch. Great catch. That thing was coming out the backside. What great hands.
There you go with that 3-by-2 coach speak stuff again.
That's simple. 3 to one side, 2 to the other.
Ryan Grant, boy, Coon laid a big block in front of him, and Coon carries down to the 46-yard line. You want to explain that 3-and-2 stuff again one more time for us laymen out there?
Yeah, layman's the right term. You're exactly right. It's real simple. A 3-by-2 says there's 3 receivers to one side, 2 on the backside, meaning no one in the backfield.
All right.
Right?
Coach
Do the math.
Coach Speak. You have a show they call Coach Speak. Very highly rated, I'm told. It's the end of the third quarter. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break. From your local Fox station, should be a thrilling fourth quarter coming up in San Diego. 21 points in the opening quarter for Green Bay. 2 of those on interceptions returned for touchdowns. One by Charlie Peppra. That was the first one that was returned for a touchdown, and the other Tramon Williams.
You may see a shot down the field here.
2nd down and 5. Rodgers to the far sideline, and a catch made by Jordy Nelson. 1st down at the 35.
The Packers so rarely get into a 2-back I set, a traditional football alignment. Teams tend to condense because they don't run the ball very much. They don't want to let the run get cranked up against the Packers, and it opens up the one-on-one matchups on the outside. I love what Mike McCarthy does with his play calling. A lot of good play callers out there. Sean Payton gets a lot of good pub and being. I don't know that there's any better designer of offenses and play caller than Mike McCarthy. He's brilliant.
Ryan Grant carries inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. That'll be a gain of 6. Fourth quarter is when you get a whole dose of James Starks. 2 weeks ago in that win against Minnesota, when Green Bay got the ball, needing a drive to run out the clock, an icy win. He had 6 carries, 55 yards. And a large chunk, over a third of his rushing yards on the year, have come in the fourth quarter. He's right back in there.
5-1.
First down to the 21.
And that has been, if you can criticize the Packer offense for anything, it would be that they haven't got the kind of personality or personnel to be a physical down-the-hill run team when they've got the game under control to chew up the clock. They want to do that. We're seeing it here. If they can continue to do this type of downhill running with the backs they have, they're adding another dimension, as though they need another one for this offense that Mike McCarthy would love to see happen. He's a little frustrated with the negative runs his running game has had. We're not seeing any of those today.
Jones, first time we called his name all day long. James Jones, a touchdown reception on another spectacularly thrown ball by Aaron Rodgers.
What'd we say? Touchdown to check down. He knew right now, based on the coverage, whoop, I got one of those touchdowns. You cannot throw a ball more accurately than this. Absolutely perfect.
His 3rd touchdown pass of the day, his 23rd touchdown pass of the season. The 20th game in his career, he's had 3 touchdowns or more in a game. And the point after is good. He's hit 7 different receivers in the game today. First time he's found Jones all day, and 6 go up on the board. The league's MVP, undeniably through the first 8 weeks of this season, Aaron Rodgers. Well, you get to know this Packer team a little bit, and there's a whole lot of ribbon going on that sideline. James Jones hadn't caught a ball all day long.
Right now,
James, they're giving him the business.
Where are you at, man? Where you been? I didn't know you were playing today. Good to see you here.
That's through the back of the end zone. A full 13 minutes to play.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by Subway Restaurants. Get your own Subway steak melt today.
38-24. Green Bay in front, but nearly an entire quarter to be played here in San Diego. Aaron Rodgers was telling us 2 weeks ago that everybody wants to make a big deal about what receivers not being used very much on any given week. Well, rather than the fact that they're piling up all these yards and all these points. But it is a close-knit group.
Well, watch right here. We talked about this group being together for a while. Watch on the right side here. Aaron Rodgers with his hand signals that say, you do this, I do that. There wasn't a lot there, but it certainly meant something because it led to a touchdown. They've been together for 4, 5, 6 years. They think the same way. They act the same way. And don't think for a minute these guys don't appreciate what they have in Aaron Rodgers.
Second down and 2. Rivers dropped by Desmond Bishop. This guy has become a major force for the Packers on defense.
And he's much more comfortable doing this than when we saw him trying to cover Antonio Gates. They bring the corner as well, and you can't hold him out this long. Nice job setting up the tackle, dipping underneath. Now he's a little bit different mood than we saw earlier. Yeah, let me do that. I'm much better at coming at the quarterback than trying to size up with a Pro Bowl tight end.
Bishop, their leading tackler, and now leads the team in sacks on the year. Big third down.
Dookie! We gotta go, Ted!
3-man rush. And clearly, Rivers was a little concerned about where he was on the field and crossing the line of scrimmage. It looked like poor throw. Let's send it back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for a game break.
New England picked off Eli Manning in the end zone and then went 80 yards for the score. Aaron Hernandez from Tom Brady. And just like that, it's all even at 10 in the fourth quarter. Tom and Brian.
Not sure what that dance is by your buddy Aaron Hernandez.
Well, I'm sure he'll explain it to us. We're just thrilled to be tied up.
First punt of the game by either team, and what a punt it is by Cyphers. Chasing Cobb back to the 22-yard line. And he's decked to the 32. Talked about how much they like each other. And they appreciate each other. Why would you? With Aaron Rodgers leading the charge. .11:31 to play here in the final quarter from Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. Green Bay a 38-24 lead, and the Packers have the football.
You got base.
Play fake to start. And Rodgers rolling down the field to Nelson. He's got it, and he's on his way to the corner. And is tackled at the 4-yard line. He had a 93-yard touchdown against St. Louis early in the year.
Just going to boot out here to the strong side. Some people looked at, that's just a lucky throw. Lucky bull. This happens way too, unbelievable. This guy's ability, that's a long old throw now. Outside the pocket, kind of falling away. Jordy Nelson matched up one-on-one using his size. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, gosh, every play, it sounds like a broken record and sounds like we're trying to throw the guy into Canton right now, but he keeps playing like this. Wow.
You know what, Coach? There's a difference between talking about somebody and somebody earning it. That's a word that's not used enough. He's earning everything said about him.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
Green Bay with the ball at the San Diego 4-yard line after the 64-yard completion of that man, Jordy Nelson. Boy, that Packer faithful that have shown up here in San Diego starting to make a lot of noise. Caught but out of bounds.
He just ran out of real estate there. Still a great throw. Field was just 1 yard too not wide enough. Again, always looking for the matchups here. His go-to guy, Finley. Nice safe throw. No way Oliver at 5'11" is going to keep up with the 6'5" Finley. Always looking for the matchups. That's what a good quarterback does.
Touchdown reception by Greg Jennings. And again, just a great throw by Aaron Rodgers, his 4th touchdown pass of the afternoon.
And not bad coverage by Quentin Jammer, but I don't know how you stop this. Watch this on the outside. You can see the two of them know right now where that ball's going to be. Strictly on the alignment of the corner. Am I going to put it to the back of the end zone? Or what about his shoulders? What about his alignment tells me this thing's going to be on the backside? And then you got to deliver. Then you got to pull it in. They're having some fun now. Look at that grin on his face. He's been with some good ones. He was here in the Brett Favre days. Loves Brett Favre. But he knows there's something special with Aaron Rodgers.
Just coming into the game, Rodgers was the first quarterback in league history to have thrown for over 2,300 yards and 20 touchdowns through 7 games. Well, here we are in the 8th game. And now he has 24 touchdown passes on the year. And you talk a lot about, Coach, throwing a receiver open. What's that mean?
And it's no one better than Aaron Rodgers. It's throwing it in that space, having the faith in your receivers to put the ball in places that only he can get it. That takes a more accurate throw than you would think. But all these receivers, or most of them, have the kind of size that Aaron Rodgers is very comfortable in putting it only in the spot they can. And I'll tell you the faith they have in him. They know he's never going to put them in a position to get hurt. He's never going to throw them into coverage. He's never going to throw them into an area where they might get blown up by a linebacker. If they know that wherever he puts the ball, they're safe to go get it there.
So could you pass along what that quarterback rating would be for Aaron Rodgers today? Is that perfect?
Good. And if it's anything less than perfect, they can wad that thing up. And here's my problem with the quarterback rating. It doesn't include sacks and it doesn't include big games or big explosive plays. So there are quarterbacks in this league that will purposefully dump the ball off, or I should say take a sack, because it's better for their quarterback rating. Well, that's terrible. Aaron Rodgers, you can keep that quarterback rating. I can just look at that and go, you know what? That plus that plus that, that's pretty good.
Well, for more on Aaron Rodgers, let's check in downstairs again with Laura Oakman.
I want to add something to what Brian's talking about, the faith that the receivers have in Aaron, because I talked to Donald Driver about that. He played with Brett Favre for 10 years, and he said Brett's a gunslinger. He just would chuck that ball up there and just have faith that we would bring it down. I love Brett because he's prolonging my career. We know he's not going to do that. He's not reckless with us, exactly what Brian said. He's not leading us across the middle. He's not putting the ball between two players because he does not risk our bodies, and they say how much they appreciate that.
And his one happy sideline was still 10:27 to play, but it's a 21-point lead. Gates up to the 37. You know, naturally, the first thing a lot of people want to start to talk about, and Brian, I loved hearing your perspective on it. You coached a 15-1 team back during your coaching career. And of course, this week, Packers are on the cover of Sports Illustrated, Aaron Rodgers and all his receiving corps. And the talk has already began. If they hold on here, they're halfway through the season. Catch made by Vincent Brown at the 44-yard line. And you asked him the other day about the talk about an unbeaten year.
And I like what Mike McCarthy had to say. He said, we're not going to talk about any of that stuff until we get to double-digit wins, because now you're talking possibly playoffs. And that's the way to go about it. You know the coach's mantra. It's always about the next game. But you can tap into that energy about the perfect season, get to the double-digit wins, and at that point, I promise you guys, this is worth going after the 16-0. You can use it in a positive way. This Packer team is so intelligently built, Tom. Ted Thompson, the general manager, Mike McCarthy, outstanding relationship. They have a very clear vision of what they want this team to be made up of. They're carrying 5 tight ends. Their combination of taking on the back end 6th, 7th round draft choices, undrafted free agents, body types, outside linebacker, rush linebacker types, tight end types. They've got a very clear vision of what they want out of this organization. They're of one mind that way. And I really appreciated most Ted Thompson. Believe me, it was an organizational decision to let Brett Favre go. But you'll notice that Ted Thompson knew it was of no value to have Mike McCarthy get drawn into that. He took the hit for that, even though it was an organizational decision. It's that type of relationship that has them having built what I think is the most intelligently built team in the NFL.
To the corner. And the catch is made by Vincent Brown, and he's inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line with 8 minutes to play here in the final quarter. Been a big day for the rookie Vincent Brown. We told you out of San Diego State. Getting a chance to get more snaps due to the injury of Malcolm Floyd.
And you can look at this and say, well, what's Dom Capers doing defensively? Why are they getting big chunks right now? The clock is a factor. As long as they can bring down chunks of time, I don't care about the yards. I don't want to give them a score here. Don't get me wrong.
Clay Matthews, heavy pressure on Phillip Rivers.
Clay Matthews, you know, at some point now, he's going to be a factor. We've seen Bishop come from the outside. Now Clay Matthews in a familiar outside rush. But Dom Capers, back to my point earlier, he doesn't worry about the numbers. Now, a lot of defensive coordinators will tell you that, but obviously it's very true with him. Whatever it takes to win, yeah, I'll give them some yards here. No, it won't help my stats or my ranking, but if it helps us win the game, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Vincent Jackson to the end zone, and that's a touchdown for San Diego, making it a 2-score game.
Just a broken coverage here. You're going to see them bunch up in here way too flat. There needed to be a guy, whether it's Tremont Williams or the safety working deeper. He jumped out. You can see him turn to the safety right there. Look, if I'm going to jump the flat, you got to take the deeper route, okay? Or I'll take the deeper route, but then you got to take the flat. Just a broken coverage there.
Snuck that one in there. Third touchdown pass of the afternoon for Rivers. Rodgers and company one more time. Get it when we return. Still 7:32 to play, a 45-31 Green Bay lead. Onside kick, and it's batted down, and San Diego recovers it. Darryl Stuckey retires the onside kick. It looked like a Packer tried to bat the ball out of bounds.
But once, I think it was Jordy Nelson right back in here. Once he sees he's not going to get a clean swipe at it, he started to go down. He was trying to bat it out of bounds. They handled it the right way. The front wave takes out the kickoff team, and that leaves the one guy in behind. He looks like he stumbled as he went to catch it and then just tried to bat it out of bounds once it didn't happen.
Well, now did they cross every T and dot every I on that onside kick is a question.
Ruling on the field is that the receiving team legally touched the ball. It was recovered by the kicking team. First down, San Diego.
All right.
Yeah, it had to go the 10 yards.
Yep.
Looked like it did. And that's the right process. Confer with one another. What did we see? Did it go the distance? When did the touching happen? Here you can see, obviously, it's got to get to the 45. It does. It bounced, then kicked back up. So here we go.
50. Yellow.
Again, it is Vincent Brown down the middle of the field. That is a first down to the 42-yard line. San Diego has all 3 timeouts left. They'd like to save those until they get to one more drive.
And this is different now. We talked about Dom Capers being a little more passive. Time was on his side. 2-score differential just at 7 minutes. You got to play this more straight up.
Herbert cuts it to the outside and stays in bounds. The clock continues to run. He could have gotten out of bounds to stop the clock. And every second precious and due right now for San Diego.
They've got plenty of time, though, simply because if they can score here, you're talking about the 1-score differential, and they've got 3 timeouts. Typically, you might have gone up and killed or used a timeout. They got plenty of time to do that because they got to think about the next drive as well.
Look into the end zone, wide open, it's Jackson.
Tramon Williams got turned around. Again, we've seen a couple broken coverages. Not a real clear-cut idea of who has the underneath and who has deep. That's twice now Jackson's gotten in behind the secondary. Tramon Williams right now wondering what happened because he got turned around. Looked like he thought there was going to be someone else.
Point after is good, and all of a sudden, what was a 45-24 lead has turned into a 7-point game.
First, nice job of Rivers stepping up into the pocket, and you can see right here at the bottom, Tramon Williams came flat. For some reason, the underneath route drew his attention and turned around and didn't realize or thought someone else was behind him to take Jackson.
Took them all of 1 minute and 7 seconds to go 55 yards.
Watch right here, the outside coverage of Tramon Williams. They're communicating right there. Something broke down. Then when he sees Jackson working out past him, I don't know what drew his attention. He can see the underneath route coming here. He rolls out as though he has to take that. That's just miscommunication with the safety. You got him, I'll take him.
All right, now, Brian, with 6.5 minutes to go in all 3 timeouts, you don't need the onside kick again.
No, why would you? No, you won the first one. You're tempting Providence. You do that now. You have a little faith in your defense. You got lots of time. You got your 3 timeouts. You put it on your defense to do anything but let them march the length of the field. You kick this one off.
Well, Green Bay not taking any chances. They have 10 players inside 15 yards of where this ball will be kicked off. The only guy back is Charles Woodson, standing at his own 15.
Now he's teeing that ball up in a very interesting way. That might indicate an onside, but I can't believe they're not going to kick it down the field.
Woodson backed up to the goal line. And he's tackled at the 8.
And that's typically what can happen when Green Bay aligned its entire return team to prepare for the possibility of an onside kick. It blows up your blocking lanes. You're now in a head-to-head running down the field. That's why they had Charles Woodson back here. You need good, sound judgment. No one's going to do a better job than Woodson. But now this is just a track meet, and Woodson's got no protection or no blocking out in front of him. Got him in great field position.
starting to come down harder than it has all day long. They're going to throw it on first down. And Rodgers tackled after a 2-yard gain at the 10-yard line. And the clock stops with 6:11 remaining.
Well, this is where your faith in your quarterback, Mike McCarthy, on first down from a run-type formation, knowing that I have got to maintain control of the ball here. The last thing I can do is 3 and out. I'm going to trust my quarterback to make good judgments, because the other thing I can't afford to do is turn the ball over. Tends not to be the case for Aaron Rodgers. He has unqualified faith in his quarterback, or unquestionable, I should say, faith in his quarterback to make the right decision.
Jennings. And so nicely defended by Antoine Cason. So a third down upcoming, and granted, we still have 5.5 minutes to go, but this is the biggest play of the game defensively for the San Diego Chargers.
All about matchups, and this is where the Packers can get you. Who do I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go to? You can't cover everybody, and what I mean by that is, where am I going to take my help? Am I going to look for Jermichael Finley? Am I going to look for Jennings?
It looks like Green Bay is going to spend a timeout. Let that play clock wind all the way down before spending their second timeout. Well, here in the month of November, join the NFL's Salute to Service campaign to honor our nation's veterans and active servicemen and women. Learn more at NFL.com/salute. We can't thank those of you enough who have served, are serving, and will serve for the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. We salute you. We're a huge naval influence here in the city of San Diego, America's largest naval base city. Of course, football's not over at the conclusion of this one. The OT presented by Lowe's coming up after the game from Los Angeles. 3rd and 7.
Normally I'm looking for what the best matchup is, but Aaron Rodgers likes all his matchups with this group of receivers.
Green Bay will punt.
Just a little high to get the receptions to Jennings. This had disaster written on it. Once that ball bounces up with the safety behind it, Rodgers knows right now, I just missed it. One bad throw all game long. Chargers should get this with great field position, and clearly the emotion of this stadium has got them rocking and rolling.
First punt of the afternoon by Maste. And he'll back up Creighton to the 33-yard line. Still on his feet. Excellent field position with 4:48 to play. Saturday night, Fox Sports steps into the Octagon, an epic heavyweight title fight. Cain Velasquez, a world champion, against #1 ranked Junior Dos Santos. That'll be live here on Fox. The UFC Heavyweight Championship of the World, Saturday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Now Philip Rivers, who threw 2 interceptions in the first quarter that were returned for touchdowns, has a chance to tie the game. Catch made by Gates to the 44-yard line. Rivers 9 of 11 for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns here in this final quarter.
Nice pickup. Watch the back come across to pick up the pressure. Actually, it's a tight end in the backfield. Nice job of picking up the pressure of the Green Bay Packers, allowing Philip Rivers time to get the ball.
Walden behind the line of scrimmage drops Tolbert. Well, what a find he has been. Took over for the injured Frank Zombo last year and became one of their better defenders. Started through the playoff run, then injured his ankle and did not play in the Super Bowl.
Another one of those 6'2" to 250 outside linebacker, late round draft choice guys, 6th round for Walden. But Green Bay has been so successful in integrating into their system.
Third down, Rivers pump fakes, and it's batted into the air. So 4th down upcoming. And with 3:32 a decision now for Nerve Turner. He has 3 timeouts left. Do you punt or do you go for it?
Well, remember, this is as good a 3rd down or 4th down conversion team as there is in the league. I think you put the faith in your offense. I think it would be a lot to ask your defense to keep Aaron Rodgers to 2 3-and-outs.
San Diego is 0 for 4 on 4th downs this season.
That clock's winding down. I'm not sure you don't take a timeout here.
Well, they get it off. Throw it the other way, and not a receiver in sight, and a flag comes in.
Wow.
As Woodson got tangled up with Antonio Gates.
Wow. Boy, the timing of this is, you can see right here, he knows where it's going. Kind of gets betrayed by Gates pulling up. Looked like he was running a stutter move there. I'm not even sure.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21.
That's a tough one.
Ball in place at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
Antonio Gates just pulled up. Woodson's pleading his case, going, hey, the guy just stopped. How am I supposed to stop running? The guy pulled up on me. That is huge.
But a good call, don't you think, when all's said and done?
Well, that's why at the end of the day, sure, technically it was. You feel sorry for Woodson, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's a penalty. You got to call it.
55. 50.
First down at the Green Bay 35-yard line. McMichael leapfrogs a would-be tackler and tiptoes out of bounds after a gain of 2 yards.
Smart move, typical of a veteran, 10-year veteran. Got to get out of bounds. I know we've got 3 timeouts, but we may need them even though we're at and above 3 minutes.
Well, it was only 9 minutes ago where Green Bay had a 21-point lead, and now they're trying to hang on. Third down. Packers screaming for intentional grounding, and they might make the call. The officials are going to huddle up, and they're going to throw the flag.
It looked like Rivers expected someone to make an outside move. They had late pressure. He had to throw the ball up a little blind.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 17. It's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
See, everything's flowing this way. He thought someone was going to be to the outside. He was still within the pocket. There's nothing there now. Good call by the officials. That hurt now. That backing that up. Certainly a field goal is not a factor here. That's not what they're playing for. You're in 4-down territory.
Well, you get penalized and you get a loss of down.
Yeah, I mean, so at any case, this isn't about, you know, you're going for it in 4 downs.
Yeah.
We're not trying to get in field goal position. Do I go for it all in one shot here, or do I look for 2 consecutive plays?
Well, they need to get to the 25-yard line for a first down. And Matthews forcing Rivers to throw it straight into the ground. And a 4th down and 17 coming up. And Norv Turner will send his punt unit onto the field with 3:08 left and all 3 timeouts remaining.
And the penalty dictated that. This is just too much to overcome with the 3 timeouts. Had he not had the 3 timeouts and he has the 2-minute warning in his back pocket, he's going to have to rely on his defense, hopefully to punt them down deep and get the same 3 and out he had the series before.
What a punt by Cypress. Second straight Green Bay drive that'll begin inside their own 10-yard line.
That's a brilliant rugby style punt that is so vogue in the league right now. Watch the backward spin. That's what happens. That's what they're counting on, it spinning backwards into the field of play. They desperately need that 3 and out. They're in great field position for this. And they've got the timeouts. We're going to see these timeouts get pulled out as we progress here, all the way down to the 2-minute warning, if they can keep them from getting a first down.
But you have to have a 3 and out stop.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Particularly since you're going to use these timeouts right now.
Yep. Starks up to the 6-yard line, and that'll be the first timeout called by San Diego. So 2 left. 2:52 remaining in a game. Of course, the Packers coming in 7-0 for the 4th time in franchise history. Last time he did it, 1962. Lombardi at the helm. And John F. Kennedy, our president, the NBA was playing. Chubby Checker had the #1 hit in America. And back-to-back titles for the Packers in 61 and 62. Can they go back-to-back in 2010 and 2011?
You know what? I remember all that. That's how old I am. In fact, I knew the group on the left a little bit more better than I knew the group on the right.
You didn't know Chubby Checker better than Justin Bieber.
Hey, man, you better believe that one.
You don't know that song, Never Say Never? You don't know that song?
No.
All right, 2nd down and 8. 2:54 left. Starks again. And he appears to be about a yard and a half, maybe 2 yards short of a first down. San Diego uses its 2nd timeout. 1 left for the Chargers. Clock stops with 2:45 left.
And this is playing out very well for the Packers. And by that I mean they now have a very convertible 3rd down. They've got San Diego chewing up 2 of its timeouts. If they can convert on a first down here, they're going to bring a whole bunch of clock down between the 1 remaining timeout and the 2-minute warning. That's what this is all about right now. How much time can I take off the clock before I have to give the ball, if at all, back to San Diego?
You throwing or running it here on 3rd and 2?
I'm going to go ahead and run it here because it's a convertible enough 3rd down. Of course, if I were going to throw it, and typically they go to an empty backfield, so I'm going to guess they're going to throw the ball here, although he could run a quarterback draw.
Ready, go!
Oh, he's hit from behind, and they're so lucky he did not fumble that football. Flag down in the secondary. Oh, my goodness, if this is against San Diego, another penalty that could have taken away a 3 and out. We'll wait and see.
Jordy Nelson got run over late, but the timing of that, I'm going to have to see it because I can't imagine. He's outside the pocket. It really comes down to the timing of when did he throw, when did the contact happen. Uh-oh, he's clapping like this is going to go against the Chargers.
My, oh my.
Anytime a quarterback pulls up, you've got to know that something's coming from the backside.
Defense, number 23. A 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So on Quentin Jammer. Told you that San Diego 25 penalties in the 2 games leading into this one. And that's a 9th penalty today.
Quentin Jammer right here against Jordy Nelson. Hold right there. They're calling it early enough. They saw that. I saw that little shove down late. Couldn't imagine that was going to be the call. particularly the way the ball came out, but it was the early holding that they caught.
Antoine Barnes delivering the big hit, but the penalty that keeps the drive alive. That would have been 3 and out. Starks up to the 21, and the Chargers go ahead and take the timeout now.
San Diego takes their third timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
That's their final timeout. So they get that timeout. They'll get another timeout after the 2-minute warning. And then if they're able to hold, they would get the ball back roughly with about 1.5 minutes left in the game by the time you punt it.
Here's an interesting call. You're always putting these on me. All right, Coach, I'm going to put it on you. This is going to be a run, clearly, because then they're going to let it run down to the 2-minute warning. They're going to be third and maybe a medium, hopefully a short from the Green Bay standpoint. I got Aaron Rodgers now. If I convert the first down, game's over. Chargers are out of timeouts. I'm under 2 minutes. Do I let Aaron Rodgers throw the ball on a 3rd and 4, 5, or 6? What do you think, Coach?
I would.
I know you would. I would too, but that's why we're standing up here.
I know why I'm standing up here.
You know why I'm standing up here too.
Boy, he is a strong runner. He's not a featured back like you see so frequently in the NFL, where you're getting 25, 30 carries a game, but starts with a lot of promise. All right, 3rd down and 2. This will take us down to the 2-minute warning. Hey, let's never forget, you don't have to tell a San Diego fan what happened last week in Kansas City. It's a 3rd down coming up. But we've seen bad snaps. We've seen fumbles. After what happened to San Diego last week, they're hoping they can get one come their way when we come back.
Well, right now, Greg Mineski's got to make a call. Do I stop the run or do I stop the pass? You can't do both. You got to sell out one or the other based on what you think they're going to do.
Chargers do not have any timeouts remaining.
Running, go!
Packers running, and they are denied the first down. Eric Weddle coming up to stop the progress of James Stark. So here we are, clock running at 1:43, 1:42. We'll let this baby wind down. Another 20 seconds remain on the play clock. So about 1:13 is when this ball should be punted. Now, you wouldn't think they're going to take a penalty here, because 5 more yards could make all the difference. Nearly blocked it. Patrick Creighton dropped to the 31-yard line. So before San Diego gets a ball, we would like to send our thoughts and prayers to the producer, our regular producer on this crew, who of course worked with John Madden, Pat Summerall for many, many years, the great Bob Stenner. He'll be undergoing some major surgery later on this upcoming week, and our thoughts and prayers are with him. And Bob, we can't wait to have you back.
Looking forward to it, man. I still expect I know he's listening right now. I still expect a critique on Monday, Bob.
21 points is the largest comeback in San Diego Chargers history. Trying to come from 21 down in the 4th quarter. Incomplete on first down, stopping the clock, 1:01 left, and again, no timeouts remain for the Chargers.
Typically, it's going to take a catch and run to get them set up for scoring position. You're not. Dom Capers and this Green Bay Packer defense is too veteran. They're not going to, or they're going to make it very difficult anyway to think you're going to get that huge bomb down the field. Probably something crossing in the middle of the field with a lot of yards after the catch if they're going to get in position to pull this out.
Hurry! Leo, hurry!
Antonio Gates, a catch, steps out of bounds at the 50, stopping the clock with 54 seconds.
This is pretty. We talk about Aaron Rodgers now. Philip Rivers, this is pretty good. Rolling to your right, pulling up under duress all the way across the field. Typically that gets you in trouble, but right now you got to let this thing fly. You go down with your boots on in this situation.
54 seconds remain. San Diego 7 back.
Filoni! Man! Ricky! Rock it! Rock it!
Receiver never turned around. Let's check in quickly back in Los Angeles with Curt Menefee.
New England took the lead with less than 2 minutes left, but the Giants come back, helped by a pass interference call on Sergio Brown. So it's first and goal at the 1-yard line. Eli Manning to Jake Ballard puts the Giants ahead 24-20, 15 seconds to go, trying to end New England's 20-game home win streak. Tom and Brian?
What a great weapon Jake Ballard has become in that New York Giants offense. San Diego needing a miracle, down 7. And it's incomplete. That was it. Taking a chance, but when you're down to the final 45 ticks, you got to take a chance. You avoid the sack and that clock continuing to run.
Yeah, as I said, there's no bad decisions here. You've been dealt a tough hand. Philip Rivers, who's an unorthodox throwing style to begin with, is going to do anything he can, the ultimate competitor that he is, to get the ball out. A sack there would have been murder.
55!
Blitz coming. Rodgers throws incomplete. Antonio Gates will draw another flag. Came from the back, Judge. Terrence Mills standing all the way back at the 20-yard line.
And Woodson knows this. It's a tall order.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. Molly placed at the spot of foul. Automatic first down.
Contact at the top of the route. You can see it right here all the way down the field. You're past the 5-yard marker. You're fine. You're fine. But right here, the push, the shove, the contact, you just can't do it. You can't have your hands on the guy. Past the 5 yards, they're going to call that every time.
First down at the Green Bay 41-yard line with 38 seconds left. Incomplete on the first down throw by Rivers. We welcome those of you who just saw a thriller from Foxborough where the Patriots' home win streak comes to an end. Eli Manning and the Giants rally late, and that's what Philip Rivers in San Diego is trying to do against Green Bay. It was 45-24 at the beginning of this fourth quarter. But Norv Turner's team, losers of 2 in a row, got a touchdown pass, an onside kick, another touchdown pass, and their defense stands up to get the football back one more time. They're out of timeouts. 33 seconds left. Rivers down the field, and for the third time is intercepted. Second interception by Pepperu as a touchdown, and he might be going for another score. He is dragged out of bounds at the 3-yard line. So Philip Rivers, who came into the game with a league-high 11 interceptions, has thrown 3 more of them here today. 2 returned for touchdowns, and the Packers are 14 seconds away from going to 8-0 on the year.
Kind of a desperation throw for the situation. I know the clock's winding down. It's second down. Underthrew it. Double coverage over the top. Don't know that he needed to quite force that throw on a second and long with plenty of time left on the clock.
including the playoffs. Take a look, the last home loss for the Chargers were in 08. This will be 14 consecutive wins for the Green Bay Packers, including last year's playoffs. The longest winning streak in franchise history. They're 8-0 on the year. Final score of 45-38 Green Bay. There's ever a time where the old cliche is apropos. It's in this one. Too little, too late for San Diego. And the Packers march on. Halfway through this season, they're unbeaten. Back with more in a moment.